can't remember what happened. I think the publisher wanted 2 books, and that was the only other one I could think of. So I just thought, okay, I'll put together some short things. So the oldest one is 93, so not. Oh, because the book is a kind of is kind of me exploring humor. So I just chose pieces that were overtly working with comedy. Oh no, it's always there. It's always there. I mean, it's one of the things I always work with. But like before, I mean, normally it depends on the book. Normally I use it to serve another purpose. So it's there to, like I said, distract or relax the reader or something. It's there. It's like it's part of the machinery, but it's not the machine or something. So, but I always use it. It's just that sometimes I use it less. Sometimes it's comedy that's about the phrasing or about the word choices, and sometimes it's more. I mean, the Sluts was a bit more humorous, I think. I thought so. And so yeah, I do. But in this case, I wanted it. I mean, I've never really concentrated on making the work serve comedy rather than having comedy serve the work. So that's why now, I mean, for Ugly Man, it became the most important thing. And so the pieces I wrote for it, I would choose a particular character or idea or something, and then it wouldn't be like the comedy would have to flatter the content or the characters. The characters would have to be nice to the comedy or whatever. So I was interested in, so like you get different pieces are more comedic or stupider or more silly or like jokes, and then the other ones where it's a bit more subtle and things, and that depended entirely on the kind of emotional content or the kind of disturbing nature of the material. It made the comedy change, right? It kind of, yeah. So that was why it was so interesting to me to work on those things, is because I'd never made the comedy be the final the final decision or something, you know. Well, yeah, I mean, I'm interested. I mean, I'm interested in I mean, partly it's just an idea about fiction that it's like I just don't like. I'm not interested in the kind of fiction that just tries to resemble life, but in a more like literary way or something, you know. So I'm not interested in just depicting the things that you see, and so I'm interested in, since I'm interested in what language can do, I get really interested in what happens to something when language, when it's turned into a code, you know, or something, which is like language. So I'm always looking for different ways to create layers between the author and the reader, and sort of like so that I'm present in the books in a certain way, like in terms of style, but also like almost there's a secret passage or something through the work. You can, like, you know, there's a photograph and the photographer took it and the photographer and you can find me. So I'm interested in like taking the fiction and creating these kind of strange ways to get at not me personally, but just a way of, or like a kind of a way of observing through writing being a kind of filter or something. So yeah, so I use those things a lot, and also because I'm just really interested in I'm really interested in what fantasy, what happens to violence or sex when fantasy when it's you know, co-opted or whatever, or distorted through fantasy. So I'm trying to depict the way fantasy works too. Well, yeah, I mean, it's always talking about reality, I guess, but I'm just interested in the machinations or the designs of fantasy. I'm interested in what fantasy chooses is interesting, what it excludes, and things. And that's one of the reasons why I'm interested in pornography, is because with pornography, you know, the way that pornography, just as an example, depicts sex. I mean, it's very picky or very choosy about what it shows you and what it doesn't show you, what it hides from you and what doesn't. And that interests me, and it's the same thing with writing about those things as well, because I don't know. I don't know. It's just kind of like it's just like I'm interested in the geography of the space between your fantasy and the real act and stuff. So I'm always interested in sort of using the work to kind of graph that area. I don't know. That's sort of the way I think about it. It's, you know, to sort of like get closer to the act than reality will let you, and at the same time be incredibly protected. You know, like you're wearing a spacesuit on the moon or something. But at the same time, it's like to try to get as close as possible to it, close to it in a way that you couldn't in reality, because in reality you have to deal with, you know, guilt and morality and stuff. And in my work, it's like, I mean, those things are less of an issue. It's like if those things were not an issue, this is what it might feel like, or this is what it might look like. It's just strategic. You know, it's just when I was figuring out what I wanted to write about when I was younger, I just wanted to take a really extreme example. I wanted to take something that would be really, really difficult to write about, and would have like a tremendous force, you know, like so that it would be like a battle to be able to. I'd have to fight my own urges and my own fears and stuff to be able to write about it, you know. And so it would be more of a challenge, or it'd be more interesting and you know, complicated and things. Because I was drawn to that sort of thing, and so yeah, I just you know said, well, you know, sex is like, you know, is like supposedly the most, you know, the moment at which you're the most intimate with another person, and violence is the opposite in a way. In violence, in a way, it's extremely intimate with a person, but there's nothing, you know, it's psychotic. It's not acknowledging the intimacy of the other person. It's like having the intimacy, only your intimacy, your feelings of intimacy being important. So I don't know. It just seemed like combining those two things would really be revealing or something. It would be, I might learn a lot that way if you just isolate these most extreme examples of like interactions between people, you know. And then, you know, I mean, and I was influenced by the things that I was interested in, you know. I mean, literature or you know, my own fantasies, or you know, things in the news and things. So I was drawn to the way those things made me feel, and so that happened too. But it's just a matter of like just creating this really like intense hot spot, and just trying to concentrate the work on that, and just relentlessly do it, you know, over and over and over in different ways, and trying to find a way to depict it accurately or something. Well, it's like trying to find it's just about balance for me. It's just about because I'm trying to juggle all these things at once, right? I'm trying to be true to the horror of it, and the terror and the awfulness of it, and I'm trying to be true to the force it has for the people who do those sorts of things to people, and I'm trying to juggle being, you know, the language has to be seductive and charismatic and entertaining, and I'm juggling my position in it. So it's just all these. I'm always like, I mean, the way I write, it's like, even though it doesn't seem so, it's like this real superstructure. It's really complicated, and it's got all these different things going on at once, and I have to think about all these different approaches and things at once, and it's just that when I put it together, and when everything is balanced, the tone that ends up being there, just because it's just like it's the only compromise I can sort of come up with that doesn't take, you know, one of the things I'm trying to do out of the equation or something. Yeah. Well, you know, oxymorons are really effective. So, I mean, especially if you're working with humor. I mean, because they're inherently comical. So it's a really you can do that, and it does this. It has this really nice effect of like kind of startling or causing something really unexpected to happen in a really small way, and it just, I like the kind of bump it does. You were talking about that sentence, and you're talking about oxymorons and stuff, and it's just yeah, I mean, it's just a little, it's a device or something that I'm really fond of. It's like it's like I just like it just throws the reader's slightly off, or it causes a kind of pause or a strange thing in the reading, and then it just like take like a turn or a twist or something, and it just, I think it has a really interesting effect on reading. I mean, I notice when I read things and that happens, it has this particular kind of I don't know quite the word for it, but I don't know. I like it. I use it a lot because it has a kind of it works with the content really interestingly, and also the rhythm of it is really nice. I like the